Hello, good evening, and welcome to TTRPG, where we will be playing Haunted West, a game by Chris Spivey and Darker Hue Studios. Tonight we will be using the narrative playstyle quick draw as well as safety tools. This is a horror game and content warnings are in the chat. Please take care of yourself first. We love you. Thank you for being here. My name is Christina Sisto Kendall. I use any pronouns, and I will be your balladeer tonight. Our western winds blow us the alternate history of the haunted West, where Lincoln's assassination also killed Andrew Johnson, bringing a new perspective to the Civil War and its end. Post-Civil War Reconstruction Acts bring equality and universal suffrage to the states, governments over the territories that were once part of the Confederacy. Land reclaimed is either divided between freed Black African Americans or reclaimed by the government and were offered to those who would buy it. Many Americans, from soldiers to formerly enslaved people to immigrants from Europe and Asia coming to the States to pursue a different life, go west. The new state of Sequoia is established, a state for Indigenous peoples that have seen too many trees break and banded together to claim Sequoia as their own. Much is different from our timeline and much remains the same. The railroads bring people further west, the cattle drives continue from the south. The tension between people is high, often drawn along lines of race, class, and gender. Industry fights with environment, land is disputed, and here in the territory of Texas, in the year 1870, discussions of the formation of a new Black and Tejano state have begun. The strange and the supernatural also hold more power in this timeline. The veil is thinner, and sometimes strange things might just slip through. And that's where we find our story picking up here. But before we go to our story, let's go back just a little bit and let's meet somebody special, some new boots walking into our story tonight. We see a Bible sitting on in a wagon with a spider. It's going to crawl slowly across its cover. Gabriel, who do we see sitting next to this Bible?
I was muted. Sorry, everybody. Um, we have a person, African American, in like their late 20s. They just kind of look down at the spider and just slide the cover off the Bible and just thwap it away.
You see it
Just
fling
okay.
off into the desert. Where was Gabriel coming from?
Uh, they're coming from Georgia. It's been a very long ride across the South.
Yeah. What have they been up to on this long ride?
It's been a travel of atonement, trying to do good deeds, settle some personal debts, in their own head, of course. Uh, but if there was someone in need or someone who possibly needed a ride or a couple miles, just doing good for the sake of doing good.
You see coming up on the side of the road, looks like an elderly man, an older Black man. He's dressed in like a suit, and he has a suitcase next to him, and he'll kind of wave at you as you drive by. Where are you
And we
heading?
stop with this. Um, the West, it seems. Can I help you, sir?
I was thinking about traveling west myself. Do you have room on that schooner there?
If you don't mind the clutter, I definitely have some room for you, sir.
It won't be too much trouble. I won't take too much room. Don't you worry about me.
Oh, of course, of course. Come on in.
He'll kind of climb into the back and settle into some of the like a bag area where you have some luggage, and there's like a small bench on the back of the wagon. And he'll set his suitcase in and just settle in against the back of the schooner.
Cool, cool, cool. And somewhere sleeping in the mess is like this dusty brown mutt. And I hope you don't mind Mary. She's pretty sweet.
He kind of has his hat tipped down. He'll tip it back up. Oh, oh, she's beautiful. Is she friendly?
Of course.
Go in, start scratching her behind the ears. So what brings you west, preacher?
Um, I mean, I hate to sound pedantic, but spreading the good word in the good Lord. And they're kind of like thinking about that spider, like their brain just kind of drifted off. Uh, they're a little concerned about picking up a stranger all of a sudden.
Uh, he kind of looks out in the same direction that that spider went flinging out, and he'll lift a hand and say, Zane.
Well, nice to meet you, Mr. Zane. That is an awfully peculiar name.
Well, been some awfully peculiar places.
You don't say.
Well, here's to finding some new ones. And I hope this good word of yours that you're spreading, you believe in it?
And instead of answering, they just get the wagon moving again.
The dust plumes. And then I think we see our kind of camera pull back up, and we will see that road leading towards our town of Three Sisters, Texas, where some strange things have been happening. Strange things indeed, ghosts, memories, danger, and there's word of a demon dressed in black. So let's meet our players tonight. Let's see. We should start with Nikki. Nikki, who are you and who are you playing?
Hi, I'm Nikki, and I am playing Orla. We both use she, her pronouns, and she is the. Oh my gosh, what was it? I can't remember my paragon off the top of my head. Libertine. She is the Libertine, and she's an Irish immigrant. Am I supposed to call someone else?
No, I will. So sorry. I got distracted with a GIF in chat, and I was like, what is that?
Oh, that's my fault.
I
Sorry.
did find that same one distracted. I was like, I can't tell what's happening in it.
It's all good. Anna.
Yeah, I'm Anna, aka Archival Does Money Most Places on the Internet. I am playing Alice Hayes, a former New England scholar, a woman who knows far too much about demons for her own good, but is kind of the occult expert in this little group. Helped put the formerly mentioned ghost to rest this last session. Yeah, is very interested in what this demon might be doing here.
Dana.
I am Dana Ebert. My pronouns are she, her, and tonight I am playing Louv, who is an ex-criminal on the run, currently laying low in the West. She is the gunfighter paragon, and so far her past is a little mysterious.
And Cameron.
My name's Cameron Blair. I'm playing Cormac McFarlane tonight. We both use he, him pronouns. Cormac is a Fenian, an Irish immigrant that came over to the US with his wife. And we learned last time that he lost a child in the midst, under superstitious circumstances. So, yeah. That's all I've got.
And welcome to Vin. Vin, who are you and who will you be playing?
Hi guys, I'm Vin at VinVoxVA on Twitter. I use he, they pronouns. I'll be playing Gabriel the Holy, they, them. Pastor, question mark.
All right. And I am Christina, and I'm your balladeer tonight. So we return to our tale with a new set of boots in town. But what did the morning bring for our paragons after their close encounter last time? I think
I want to go
Orla,
last.
you wanted
No,
you
I want to
wanted
go last.
you want to go last?
Yes.
Okay. Does anyone have an
Well-
idea about where they would be in the dawning of this new morning here in the Texas sun?
Yeah, nightfall brought no sleep for Louv, that's for sure. She kept watch all night, a little spooked from the happenings, still not quite believing in the supernatural, but being forced to in many ways. And come morning, she's still sitting in the very messed up bar in the tavern beneath Orla's room.
Morning would find Cormac waking up in his very simple bunk that's in the attic of the probably the bank that's across the street from the saloon. That he just, it's dubious whether he's renting it on good terms or not, or if he's just squatting. But he just wakes up after another night of light sleep and sits upright and very quickly looks out the window to see the front door of the saloon and make sure that everything is okay.
For Louv and Cormac, I think you would both see the bartender and the owner of the establishment, Madame Vesta, will go and unlock the door. She also lives above the bar, the saloon. There's some other rooms up there. Some of the other saloon girls will live in those rooms as well. But Madame Vesta is always bright and early, comes down, unlocks the saloon, will start to go about her day, like her routine, to go make coffee, not even registering the absolute mess that is covering the bar. Glass shards everywhere. There's a sort of sulfurous smell, a strange, like the air feels a little thinner in some places still. And she's just going about her morning, and then, oh, what the hell? Louv, what are you doing in my bar?
Well, you see, there was a bit of trouble last night, and I thought I'd stick around, make sure no more trouble came around. Sorry about the mess.
The Met. Oh my God. And she just starts to take in the scene. Coffee cup forgotten. She's I can't open. What is that? What happened?
Hey, don't worry, I'll help you out with it. It weren't my fault, but I'm happy to help you clean up this morning. Don't mind me. I'm just a little tired. If you don't mind, I'd love a cup of coffee.
You said
it's a long story.
Whose fault was it exactly? And you see her eyes kind of going towards a rifle that she keeps above the bar.
What was the fellow's name who became a ghost?
Johann.
That's right. Thank you so much. Well, truthfully, I didn't see most of it, but I think it was Johann.
The pharmacist?
Yeah, lots of people have, secret lives. Um, at least in my experience. Hey, if you hand me that broom, I'd be happy to start in here.
He's certainly not going to be having any sort of life for long after I'm finished with him. She'll
Uh,
hand you a broom.
yeah, my I'm not an expert in these things, but I think he's all out of life already. I think that's part of what you know part of what happened to him.
Not exactly sure what you're implying, but I don't know if I like it.
I,
And
I I'm not exactly sure either. I'm sure some other people might be able to illuminate a little more facts about the situation.
she just kind of scoffs and starts bustling around, starts to open up the windows. Cormac, you'd be able to see in now. Her bustling around, you'd see Louv with a broom. Speaking of people who might be able to illuminate things, what's Alice doing this morning?
Yeah, Alice is up in a room, which is I think in this same saloon. She's been renting here for as long as she's been in town. But the new additions to the room that she added last night are an assortment of symbols that are now around the walls and on the door and around the windows and stuff like that. That she's added, knowing that there is a loose demon in town. It won't completely stop anything, but it'll slow stuff down at least. And I think she's kind of slumped over asleep on top of a pile of books that she was reading last night, and the candle next to her is kind of burned out. Um, she's just now kind of like pulling herself off of that page.
Some ink marks linger. What page was it open to, Alice?
Oh, she was looking up. Um, she was trying to research demons that match the description that we got of the Black Rider, I think it was.
Yeah, with no head. And Gabriel, do you think you would be how long have you been in Three Sisters when the sun rises here on this day?
Um, I'd like to imagine a couple months, 3 or more at the most.
All right. And what's your morning routine look like?
Well, um, let's see. Very basic, just getting dressed. Make sure there's like at least a clean spot to say some little devotion. Gather up Bibles and pamphlets, and getting Mary situated today.
She will wag a tail at you, and you notice that her bed where she sleeps, the blankets are kind of torn up a little, like she didn't sleep very well. She slept very fitfully. And you recall last night hearing a lot of wolf howling happening. Um, Not sure if it was a full moon or something, but those wolf packs sure were out in full last night.
Yikes. Um, just gonna give just some extra love, a couple pats, a couple scritches, and like rearrange the bedding so it's not as chaotic. So she can have a better nap later today, because that's important.
And where are you living? Do you have a little house? Are you sleeping in a boarding house? What's your living situation like?
Uh, Most likely a boarding house.
Mm.
We did not come from money.
You can hear the other boarders waking up. You can hear some kids crying, and your neighbors who you've come to know, banging open their doors to get to work, get to places. Um, yeah, where do you go in town?
Um, I don't think he has he they pronouns or a thing. Uh I don't think they have like a concrete church yet. I think they have like a spot or a soapbox, literally, either near one of the saloons or the town square. Not necessarily like uh, barking verses and like harmful things, but just there if someone needs to talk.
Now that's more Preacher Creedy's modus operandi. We met him last session barking outside the tavern, talking about sinful activity going on inside. So you would probably pass where he usually is setting up. Usually not this early, but you do see his little soapbox outside the tavern, and you notice the windows have all kind of been shattered. You see Madame Festa just sweeping glass out the door. Yeah, that's definitely where the action is. Something went down there.
So, with all this damage, how's that soapbox looking? Just curious.
It's got a big crack in it, right through the center. It's still standing, but it looks like it would probably not hold the weight of much more than maybe a small child. So,
For the sake of the city, could I put that soapbox out of his misery? Just give it one good stomp and like add it to the debris in the tavern.
absolutely. I think Madame Festa sees you do this and is like, thank you. You know, he has been out here every night shouting about sin, and it is whiskey and some pretty girls singing. That is all. That is all.
I would just add it to um the exactly what happened here.
Yeah, I don't rightly know exactly what happened here. And you see Madame Festa kind of turn around and look at Louvre inside, who's sleeping. It's like, I am waiting to still be enlightened, but apparently there was some dust up with the pharmacist.
The pharmacist.
Apparently he's got a mean streak and is dead. Last I heard, I thought he was sick. So I'm just trying to clean up.
All right, well, I'm sorry for add another mess for cleaning, but such is life, I suppose.
Well, maybe with God's grace, he'll have to take a break from preaching outside my tavern and find himself a new soapbox.
God be willing. You have a good day, ma'am. And like, Gabe like puts his hand through the window and gives a wave at Louvre. He's on their way.
Yeah, Loof will definitely wave back awkwardly when she notices.
Perfect.
I think by this point, Cormac has come down from his little attic and just kind of not stalks, but paces across the road as Gabe moves on and just peeks inside and starts to walk towards Louvre and how to explaining it to the madam go.
Well, the funny thing about that is I could definitely use a little help. I'm not quite sure how to explain, the things that we saw last night.
Right.
Like to be perfectly honest, I am struggling to come up with, any kind of explanation that any rational person would believe.
Well, have you ever learned something new that you didn't know
yeah, plenty of
before and it
times.
changed your perspective on things?
In,
That's all this is?
I mean, in what way do you mean?
Well, when you were a little one, you learned how to tie your shoes. Before that, you were either having someone do it for you or running around barefoot the whole time. But then you learned how to do it, and you saw things from a different way. Before last night, you saw certain things one way, and then Johann came back, and you can now see things another way.
Yeah, but how do you then explain that to someone who's never tied their shoes? Is all I'm saying.
That's where you have to get creative. That's why some folks look at me a little funny sometimes. I'll speak to the madam. And Cormac will turn and head towards the bar wherever the madam is.
If you don't mind, make sure to emphasize that I had nothing to do with it.
Of course, Loof. And
Much obliged.
While Cormac is moving, he'll just look up at the different apartments, see if Alice has come out or if Orla's there.
I think I'm making my way out at this point with my cat Biscuit in my arm. He needs to be fed as well. So heading down to get some food.
The mess is starting to be contained. You can see the madam starting to have, she's pasting up old newspapers now on the wall, old wanted posters that were ripped up and thrown away. So it's looking like a hodgepodge of this Western town right here on the broken windows. But the glass and the remains of the soapbox is now kind of in these 3 large junk piles.
Yeah, Cormac will go up and kind of run his hands along the bar a little bit and says, I've seen some spare wood, or I can find some, and I can furnish you this new bar if you wish.
Oh, I would appreciate that, Cormac. I don't know what was going on in here, but there are giant scratch marks in my bar.
Johann, the pharmacist, he's a lad from the home from me. He passed last night, but before he did, he went through a bit of a death throw, lashing out, and he latched on a familiar face and followed Orla back here, and no one was hurt or nothing, but he didn't get his hands on anybody and just went at the things he could. So, unfortunately, he's passed now.
I'm not going to find anything else in here then. He's not still.
No, I buried him last night.
Oh, okay. That's good to know. Good to know.
But it's a bit ill omen, the man dying like that. So, batten down the hatches a bit. Aye.
I have to get that preacher back in here. Give this bar a blessing.
Well, I don't know how much that the Protestant one will do you, but the one you were speaking with earlier this morning, I don't know his name. I've seen them about a few times, but they might be able to help.
Well, I need to go and go inquire at the general goods store about getting some more glass in. This is going to be expensive. I'm afraid that drinks are going to be a couple pennies extra for the foreseeable future.
I'm sure the hooligans that come by shouldn't mind that.
Well, here's hoping. If anyone comes by, Louvre, are you still waiting for your friends?
Yeah, I'm at least gonna wait long enough to make sure that Miss Orla's okay.
All right. Well, I'll leave the door unlocked. If anyone comes in, tell them they can pour their own. She just walks out and into the street. Orla, what is going on with you?
So I think I think it takes her a while to finally fall asleep, and the she sleeps fitfully. The thing that Alice gave her doesn't quite work. She still has nightmares, though not the same recurring one that she's been having. And then she wakes up, and she had Mabel stay the night so that she could take care of her. So I assume she wakes up and Mabel's still there.
Yeah, I think she's sitting on the side of the bed, just kind of staring at the wall.
Um, she doesn't know exactly what to say, so she just kind of goes over and sits on the other side of the bed and sits down next to her and puts her arm around her.
She'll lean in. Orla, thanks for taking care of me.
Oh, I mean, it's the least I could do. You did the same for me. Did you sleep all right?
Hardly at all.
I understand that.
What am I going to do? I can't run the store by myself.
I think you can. Your bread is what people came for, and for the rest, the pharmacy, I suppose it was important, but I think really they were coming for you and the bread.
Well, it won't do much against a fever now, will it?
No. But we don't get many of those out here.
Maybe not.
But we eat
Maybe
bread
this
every
is-
day.
I suppose. Well, I'll give it a try for a little while, but if it doesn't work, I might have to move on.
Move where? By yourself.
I don't know.
At least here you've got me. I'm not going anywhere.
Are you? Not going anywhere.
Not right now. I like it here. I'm quite
Good.
popular.
Yes, you are.
And I get paid well to be here and to have fun. I've never been paid to have fun before. So getting paid to have fun is quite nice.
You certainly do have a lot of fun, don't you?
Do I detect a bit of bitterness in that?
I saw you last night taking something. Why are you always taking something, Orla?
I think you might be able to answer that after you've tried to deal with your grief sober.
No other way to do it? Well, there is, but
There's the way I do it, and she's gonna walk over to her vanity and pull out a bottle of whiskey and a glass and start pouring
That-
herself a drink.
that's not exactly dealing, is it, Orla? That's not dealing at all. That's looking away.
It's easier.
But it's not real.
It's easier.
You've got a man that loves you.
And yet,
You're drinking about it. I've got no man that loves me anymore.
you'll find another. You're quite pretty.
I don't want another.
Well, you can't have him back. He's not coming back.
Well, no, he's not. And me drinking myself to death about it isn't going to change that.
I'm not dying.
Not yet. And she starts gathering her clothes, her cloak, starts putting her jacket on. Thank you for watching me, Orla, but I think I can handle this on my own. I've got bread to bake. And a man's wardrobe to sell. If Cormac needs anything, he can come by. Anything that was Johan's.
Well, you can tell him. I'm sure
I
he's
see.
downstairs.
He's not downstairs for me. And she's going to slam the door open and march down the stairs.
Orla takes a deep breath and sits down at her vanity and has her morning drink. And after she knows that Mabel's no longer there, she'll come downstairs.
As you come downstairs, you hear Louv talking to Cormac. All I'm saying is that was a lot of, big lead up and double talk if you were just going to lie to her. You could have just
I
told
didn't
me to
lie.
lie.
I didn't lie. Who did it?
And well,
I
you
said
certainly
exactly who did it.
didn't. You certainly didn't mention that Johan was, weird and ghost-like. Certainly, when we saw him.
Louv, he wasn't
I
ghost-like,
wouldn't-
he was a ghost.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, there we go. Ola, you know what I'm saying.
Good morning.
Good morning, Ola.
She was looking at Cormac when she said it.
Louv still responded. It's okay.
Good morning, Orla.
Did you talk to Mabel on her way out, or did she get out without stopping?
She didn't stop.
She said that if you need anything, that you can go and see if any of Johan's clothing would work for you.
We'll speak to her.
She thinks she's not strong enough to take care of the store on her own. I mean, she's not made for being a pharmacist, but she could definitely make her bread and sell the goods in the general store. She's got good head for numbers.
Well, there are a few lads looking for work. I can speak to them.
Thank you.
Aye.
And Orla's gonna go and start helping to clean up the mess.
Gabriel, as you are setting up your pamphlets and getting your space ready, you do see once more Madame Festa marching up towards you, the bartender from before, and she'll come up and, well, I heard more about what went on, and I think a blessing of the bar is in order. Can I hire your services, preacher?
Oh, you don't have to use the word hire. I'll just go down and say a few words on the Lord's behalf.
It's mighty kind of you. Thank you.
I do my best.
Apparently some strange death throes of our pharmacist. It seems like he went some sort of berserk. I don't know. Sounds odd to me. Sounds not right. Sounds a little unholy.
You are absolutely right. Pharmaceutical death throes are nothing I've ever heard of. We can take care of this immediately.
Well, thank you. And she'll lead you back to the bar where you find the whole crew here. And you see the Madame Festa will bust in the door and just say, all right, everybody, the bar is getting blessed because none of this energy, I won't have it. I won't have it in my bar.
By which preacher?
Steps aside and reveals Gabriel.
I think Orla sighs a sigh of relief that she doesn't have to go put clothes on.
Don't worry, it's the non-threatening one if anyone's concerned.
Hmm.
Morning, everyone.
Morning.
If you wouldn't mind, uh, I would like to just pick your brains a bit. What this about death throes from the pharmacist?
Cormac will look at Alice and kind of make a face as of like, how are we going to do this?
And Louv is just going to look pointedly at Cormac.
And Orla's
Alice
just gonna look
will-
at everybody like, what is happening?
Alice shrugs. I think Cormac did a pretty good job of explaining it earlier.
Right. Well, you see, I don't happen to know your name, preacher.
Gabriel Jones. Nice to meet you.
Cormac McFarland. It's a pleasure. Well, I went to go visit Johan. I heard he was sick. He's the pharmacist and a friend I made on the trip over to the States. And he wasn't doing well, and seemed as he was about to pass. And as he was in the bit of it, he made his way here, and in some sort of a fit of rage or some sort of last grasp on sanity and life, he made a mess and a fuss.
Well, that is quite unfortunate. They're picking their words very carefully because even that sounds a little suspect. But they're not gonna pry. Instead, they're gonna go up to the bar, kind of like skim their hand across the damage, not like trying to accrue a splinter, but just observing.
Are you trying to pick something up from this place? Like, are you trying to tap in somehow?
I wasn't, but let's do that
Okay,
if possible.
let's do a observation call.
All right. Okay. Big money, no whammies. No, absolutely not. That's a 62.
62. Okay. So you do skim over, and I think you do get a splinter because your eyes catch something behind the bar, some movement that you didn't, that startles you. And you see another one of those spiders just crawling under the bar and going back down into burrowing down into the floor under the tavern. But the marks on the bar look to be knife marks, like deep gouges. Yeah.
Cool. Let's bless this bar. They're not gonna make like any big hoopla ceremony over it. They might like dab some oil in like the doorways and the corners and just say a very quiet prayer.
I'm curious as to Alice's reaction. You've done something similar in your room, but in a very different way.
Yeah, so I have, just because of who Alice is and what she does, she has, like, she can identify fellow practitioners and believers in supernatural forces. She can spot charlatans and fakes. She can identify evidence of weird activity and presence and all of that. So with all of that in mind, like, what kind of sense am I getting off of this person and this kind of ceremony that they're doing? It's my first question. My second question is, am I sensing anything off of the ceremony, and is it affecting anything like my scarf, perhaps? Are there any reactions?
Your scarf, I think, would get a little, you said it's cold, right?
Yeah, it's like a cold apathy and depression is how it feels when you touch it.
Mhm. I think it gets a little colder around your neck where it's wrapped as this ritual is playing out. But Gabriel, what kind of vibe is Alice getting from you as far as your connection?
It's surprisingly genuine. I wouldn't say like it's 100% faith. Let's give it like a nice saucy 79% they believe in themselves or believe in what they're doing. So there is like a general presence of doubt, but it's not like a trick. They know this is what you're supposed to do in this situation.
Am I getting the sense that it's standard? Because I also can identify the spiritual practice and beliefs of local communities. So am I getting the sense that this is like standard from that religion, or are there other things mixed in here?
I don't know, it's pretty straightforward.
Okay. Yeah. I think Alice is still reading, sitting at a table. A little disappointed there's not food this morning, but reading at a table, kind of out of the periphery of her vision, watching Gabriel do all of this and taking note that they seem to have some power, since her scarf is reacting the way that it is. And that might be something she can use soon if needed.
I think Orla's gonna go sit down with Alice. I think the bag you gave me, it worked a little, but not quite all the way.
It can take a few days sometimes. We can try something stronger if you want, but you should give it at least a week.
Right. I'll do that then, thank you.
You know, the other way to help is to identify the source, whatever's causing it, and deal with that.
That won't do.
I'll give it a few more days then, and let me know if we need to try something stronger.
Right. We're not gonna get food here. Do you think we could maybe go down to the general store and we can get some bread?
I mean, I'd be more than happy to. I definitely need to eat. I did a lot last night that took a lot out of me. So
Yeah. Let's do that then. And Orla will turn to everybody and just be like, we'll be back and I'll bring you something.
Were you all still planning on going north, following this trail? Or had that not been decided?
I think we haven't talked about it.
We briefly did before we all split ways for the night. But plans always change in the morning, so right. We'll discuss our day once you get back. Aye?
We're planning to travel, aren't we?
Aye, just north a bit.
I'll get something for lunch then too.
probably smart.
Aye. No. And as Alice and Orla leave, Louv, do you mind if you help out the mistress for a bit? I want to speak to the preacher.
As you turn around, Louv is sitting at a table with a half-empty cup of coffee, and she is passed out and snoring on the table.
Right. Oh. Well, it's easier than that. So Cormac will look around, see if the mistress is around. I'm assuming she is.
She is, yeah. You see her busying herself with coffee wrangling and also trying to find. She's going through every single glass behind the bar, trying to find any cups that are not cracked or chipped.
I think when Orla got up, she would have gone to see if any of the other girls were up and sent them down to help, like
Okay.
Missy and any other girls kicked Cowboy out of a bed. Put on your pants and go help.
Yeah, I think Chewie probably left with a tip of his hat, an apology, has to go help out the other cowboys. But Missy and some of the other girls are down there helping sort glassware. So it's quite the ruckus at the end of the bar with glass clinking. So any conversation that you wanted to have would probably be fairly well masked.
Right. Gabriel. Well, I'm sure you gathered my story wasn't honest.
Well, I didn't want to pick it apart publicly, but death throes really.
Ah.
It's a tale. Quite a
It's
tale.
the best way to describe it to folks without outright lying. We being Alice, Orla, Louv, and myself, we've encountered evidence of demonic presence. Now, I know this may seem even more far-fetched than death throes, but Johann was dead before he arrived here in the saloon. He appeared as an apparition, a ghost. He was taking knives and carving into the bar and throwing things about and breaking windows. Shortly before that, I had buried him out in the desert.
And if I could possibly pry, what was the cause of death?
The demon that I spoke of, he had a handprint on him.
DM. I forget the title for the game. Is this anything I may have heard of like while traveling or anything? What kind of one would that be?
Yeah, so I think that we can say that you've heard of, you've been going around, you've been helping people. Do you want to, oh hey, we have 13 jacks in the river, which is a lot. Would you like to use some jacks from the river to peel away some layers from a mystery?
I would love to.
All
Thanks,
right.
everybody.
Yes, Orla, you may clear your lucidity. And anyone who had that from our fight. So I'm going to take some of those jacks. And yes, you have seen a strange disease. You've treated a number of families that have succumbed to a strange disease along your path, along your trail. You had seen some of the bodies looked like they had been had some sort of rot on the flesh that had kind of rent it down to the bone. A strange rot that was it felt different. It didn't feel like normal disease. It felt unholy. And you were able to do a quick blessing cleanse the bodies, cleanse the souls before laying them to rest, but you never saw anybody recover from this disease. And from what you've heard about, the handprint is new. That is different. But from everything else you've heard about Johann's disease, it seems to be similar.
Well, that does align to some stories and cases of rot beyond belief, down to the core. So I do believe you, unfortunately. I'm going to assume you would like some assistance. I would like to assist personally. I'd hate to see any of you fine people become unwell, to put it plainly.
I gathered. I had a feeling you would feel that way. That's why I wanted to speak to you. But we're all a bit of a mismatch of skill sets, so having you along should help out.
I'll be glad to round y'all out.
So
Who doesn't love a
appreciated.
couple of oddballs?
Makes for the best group.
I agree.
By this time, Orla and Alice, you would have come to the general store, where you see Mabel starting to pull loaves out of the oven. She must have thrown them in right as she left, and kind of inspecting them, putting them back in, like waiting for them to be quite done. And as the bell dings, you hear say, "I got a bit of a late start this morning. I'm sorry the bread isn't quite ready yet, but I've got coffee if you need. Maybe like 20 more minutes."
I think water might be better for me.
She whips around. Orla,
I came to apologize. And to buy things that we need for our trip.
oh, of course.
Cormac's,
I'm sorry too. I ran out on you. That was unkind to me.
I wasn't exactly being, I'm fun a lot of the time, Mabel, but I don't know how easy I am to be around.
Well,
that's besides the point. Cormac is going to send someone to help you with the store.
That's wonderful. Thank you. You're wonderful to be around, Orla. You really are. You're so hard on yourself.
We need stuff for lunch.
Of course. I've got... Is Dale all right? I can make some sandwiches.
That'd be great.
I'll be right back. Good morning, Alice.
Good morning.
She'll put some coffee. Looks like you might need it. And she'll go back into the back room where she was living. You see her hesitate before she opens the door, take a deep breath in, and go back in.
Does it smell better now?
Yes, the windows have been open all night, and you can see as she opens the door, you get a glimpse into the apartment, and it looks like a mess. There's clothes everywhere, and the windows are open, and the curtains are just flowing into the wind.
How's the bed look?
It's been stripped, and it's just the frame standing there. It's just the frame. Looks sad.
I think Orla's gonna go where she assumes the linens are kept and pulls out some linens and starts making the bed.
Oh, Orla, you don't have to.
I don't do anything I don't want to, Mabel.
Thank you. Thank you.
Do you have a canteen that we can take some of the coffee with us?
Of course. I can. Yes. And she goes over and pulls out some work, very clearly like a work bag of Johan's and his canteen, and to wash it out with some water, dump it out the window, and fill it with coffee. Press it into your hands, as well as a bag with some simple sandwiches, just cheese and bread.
This'll work.
Where are you going?
North.
Why are you looking to settle somewhere else? I thought you said you weren't leaving.
Absolutely not. I'm not leaving you, Mabel.
Oh, okay. Are you're not going alone? It's just you and Alice, or?
No, we're taking Louv and Cormac with us.
Good.
We're gonna go see if we can find what happened. Or find the creature that did it.
Oh, it was horrible. The way that he described this thing. Be careful, Orla.
I will be. That's why Alice will be there. And you know that between Louv and Cormac, nothing's going to happen to me.
That's true. Be well, Orla, Alice.
You too.
When I moved here, I left all of my my working clothes here with you, because I was going to wear this at work. Can I get one of those back?
Of course, dear.
I'll take the green one.
She'll pull it out of the box and hand it towards you. It always suited you, the color. I'll let you get changed. She'll go back out into the main store to tend the bread.
While they're both in the other room, question for you. How much would it cost somebody to live here in Three Sisters, Texas for like a month? Like what would it cost you?
Yeah, that is a great question. It is considered a boom. It's a up and coming boom town, which we haven't really touched on. But something that's been happening here in Three Sisters is that more and more people are starting to move here. There's no railroad, but they're coming and setting up homesteads. It's been a little bit interesting. The agriculture is what's drawing folks, but there has been a couple of little like land disputes from folks trying to claim jump each other. So a good monthly wage would be like $30 a month. And that would cover like food, housing, put a little into savings. So maybe like $20 a month.
$20?
Yeah.
Okay. When they're both in the other room, I will lean behind the counter and whatever cash box is there, whatever, I will slip $60 under it. Just to so she's not completely out of luck now that she suddenly found herself alone.
That's very sweet.
I think Orla comes out in the dress, and this is the first time you've seen her fully dressed before. I figured if we're traveling, I can't really dress like I do in town.
It may not be the most comfortable. Especially the sunburn. It gets pretty bad out there.
Should we go then?
Yeah, if we have everything we need, we should.
I think so. I've got sandwiches and coffee to go.
Yeah.
Mabel will wave on her way on your way out. The bell merrily jingles. If you didn't know that last night's horrifying experiences happened here, you would never know that anything happened. You start to see more people on the street as the town starts to wake up, heading to work, to school. And I think as you go back towards the saloon, you see the preacher Creedy kind of pacing back and forth in front of the saloon. It's like, my box got broke. Who took my box? Like, he's out kind of shouting at people randomly as they pass on the street.
Preacher Creedy is the last person that Orla wants to see fully dressed.
Yeah. As he starts harassing people on the street, I think Cormac would step outside and just pull up real close to him. Preacher, good morning.
Ah, yes, Mr. McFarland.
You remembered my last name. Well, there was a death here last night, so I know folks in the community would appreciate if you took a break from the specific area this morning. Aye.
Oh, it's terrible. Do we need a funeral?
No, he's been buried.
Buried? Without the
Aye.
blessing of the Lord?
He had the blessing of the Lord, just not your blessing.
I see. Well, who was it? We'll include him in our prayers this week.
He was a Catholic man, unfortunately.
All right.
That's all right. Just moving on from here might be the best idea this morning.
I catch your meaning. If you ever see
Appreciate
what
it.
happens to, there was a box out here. If you see it,
I think Orla's walking up at this point and just, good morning, preacher.
Oh, what a lovely, lovely dress.
You compliment it too much and I'll take it off and give it to you.
Okay. And at that, he just spins on his heel and marches away.
I find I make him very uncomfortable.
That's the best part
Good
of you.
talent to have.
What can I say? I have a way with men. There's two ways. The uncomfortable and the more comfortable.
I'll take note of that.
Oh, morning, Gabriel.
Morning, Miss Orla. How are you?
I've been better.
Understandably so. I've been caught up to your studies.
Does that mean you're traveling with us?
It would seem so if you would have me. I don't mean to intrude.
That'd be delightful, I think.
Wonderful.
Right. I'll go late, wake up Louv, and Cormac will go in and just kind of shake Louv a little bit. It's time to wake up.
Yeah. Hey,
Orla and Alice are. Hi, Louv. You sleep well?
Yeah, it seems like I drifted off for a minute there.
A bit. But Alice and Orla are back, and the preacher is going to be coming with us. Not Gabriel, the one that came in this morning. He'll be joining us as we head north.
Yeah,
Ready to
sounds,
move?
yeah, I'm ready. I don't got nothing to
Alright.
do here.
Good.
So
Right. Oh, that's all.
Yeah, I think as you step back out, Alice is talking to Gabriel. You sure you're up for this? Most of the preachers I've met have been more fans of theory than the practicalities of what's out there in the world.
Luckily, I can mark theories off my list. I've had far too many encounters than I would like.
Louv, I've got something for you, and she hands the canteen of coffee over.
Oh, thank you very much. Always looking out for me. I appreciate it.
When I can, since you do it for me so often.
Cheers.
So, question for the group. How are you traveling north?
I have a horse. An unreliable horse, but I have one.
I also got an unreliable horse. How's everyone else doing?
Also an unreliable horse.
I have an unreliable schooner.
I have a reliable horse. His name is
Of
Shaman.
course you do.
How the heck did you find one of those?
You know where reliable horses are? I don't know. But so I guess we're all traveling by horseback and schoonerback.
Okay. Sounds good. I think that as you start to head out northward, there's like a winding road that you let's see gets where from cattle drives and also other like homesteaders that have made their homes out towards these hills, and you start to go northwards toward those hills, and it takes you out of the town of Three Sisters out into the flat brush of the desert. And I think this is a great spot to take a quick break. If everyone's cool with that, it's a good break spot. All right.
Sounds good to me.
All right, cowpokes. Don't go anywhere. We'll see you back after our break. Howdy, howdy. We are back with more Haunted West. Last we checked in with our paragons, they were following a strange headless rider north into the hills of Texas, of South Texas. So we find our paragons on horseback along this road, and a schooner following behind with Gabriel. And how's that trip been going for our paragons? Is it smooth sailing? Is it, I guess, how long has it been since y'all did any riding?
It's been a long time for Orla, and she's hungover, so she is grumpy.
Been a little while for Louvre, but she falls back into it quickly. If anyone has drover experience, it might be obvious to you that Louvre also does.
It's very easy for. Oh, go ahead, Gabriel.
Sorry, I was just gonna say, like, they're used to up and moving, so this is completely fine and natural.
Yeah, Cormac, this is very easy for him. Shannon is very reliable, very good horse. So he's smooth sailing.
It's been a couple weeks, I think, for Alice since the last thing she was hunting down. But she grew up kind of wealthy, so there were always, horseback riding was always a thing. So
So you all make fairly good time. I think Orla, you probably are back by the schooner with your horse.
Yeah, and she's grumpy and she's hot. She's not used to wearing this much clothing.
But the rest of the three of you, Cormac, Alice, and Lou, kind of pull ahead. And on the horizon, you do see a small house, a sod house, and a small fence around, a patch of garden. Looks well tended. You see a couple of kids running around in the main yard. But yeah, it's kind of the first humans you've seen out here. You've seen a few little critters that maybe ran across the road, but other than these folks, it's been fairly barren.
Well, might as well speak to them, see if they've seen anything.
Did you want me to do it?
Cormac kind of looks at the group assembled, and maybe you and the preacher. Not sure who they'd be more comfortable speaking to.
Right.
I agree. People find me unnerving.
That's only because people find smart women unnerving. Oh, I think you're lovely. All right, Gabriel, are you ready?
Ready as I'll ever be.
Grand. And Orla will get off her horse and walk over to this group of people.
As you dismount and you and Gabriel come up to this kind of little garden gate, looking friendly as can be, you see, Orla, have you been in Alice's room before? Alice's rooms?
Probably not.
Okay. All right. There's just a little gate. As you walk in, Alice, though, if you have your horse parked away, you would see a symbol that's been tacked to the gate. At first, it looks like a horseshoe, but you recognize it as a occult protection symbol. It's faced in a different way than a horseshoe for luck might normally be placed, and it's got the way it's nailed and placed. Something's a little different about this horseshoe. But Orla and Gabriel, you pass by it. I think, Gabriel, you start to notice other symbols around this house. kind of carved into the door. You see a drawing in the dust of a symbol. And some of the kids will run up and just kind of look at you and like, hi, welcome to our farm. Hello.
Good morning. Or afternoon. I'm not sure what time it is, actually.
It's more afternoon, ma'am.
Are your folks home?
Yes. Daddy's there working in the garden. And mommy, and a woman comes out of the house, and you see kind of a shorter woman. She's got light brown skin, a long braid down her back, and she'll say, "Oh, hello, travelers. Where are you from? Welcome."
We came down from Three Sisters.
Oh, well, quite a group of you, I see. Do you need anything? Do you need rest, water?
I don't think we need anything. Do you need anything, preacher?
Oh, I'm quite fine, but we did have some questions if you wouldn't mind indulging us.
Oh, of course. Did you say preacher?
Ah, yes, of course. Gabriel Jones at your service.
Oh, wonderful. Oh, so many folks of God coming through here. You know, this family has recently been saved by the grace of God Himself.
I know we are in the Wild West, but Vinvox would like to say cap.
especially as you look around and you see these occult symbols carved on the door frame. Looking closer, you see those carvings are indeed very fresh.
Well, congratulations on your salvation. And it seems you also have the rest of your bases covered, if I may say so.
Oh, well, how about y'all come in? Your companions too. There's not enough chairs, but you know what? There is enough chairs. Kids, you go get the chairs out of storage.
I think we're kind of in a hurry, actually.
Yes.
Oh, of course. What was your question?
It's not appropriate for the little ones if you want to send them elsewhere.
Of course. Addie, will you take your sisters and go play? And you see the oldest girl kind of wrangle the other three. It's like, okay, come on, let's go find shiny rocks. And as they start running, you hear their mother say, "And don't go past the barrier. You remember? Good girls."
Right. What's the barrier for?
Oh, the blessing barrier.
Right. Have you had a reason in particular for such a barrier?
Well, it's a bit strange to talk about. I don't know if it's Orla, I want you to do a call. I want you to do a ingratiate. You're good at this.
Yes.
Should be no problem for you.
I rolled a 1 out of 85.
Hey. Hell yeah.
Beautiful.
Crazy.
That is so funny.
Beautiful. So you get 7 jacks.
Mm-hmm.
You can either put those in ingratiate or you could send some down the river. What would you like to do?
Let's put a couple of those in. Let's put 3 in ingratiate and send the rest down the river.
Oh my gosh, y'all have 20 jacks in this river. This river is flooding. It is doing all kinds of stuff. Ooh,
My
all
volume
right.
is relatively low because Zoom keeps turning me down. Thank you for pointing it out. Okay. Yeah. Sorry.
Amazing. Amazing.
So
All
Orla
right.
just smiles at this woman and tries to look disarming.
She's going to grasp your hand and one of your hands, Gabriel, and lean in and just say, I'm glad you sent the girls away. There was it was awful. It was like the devil himself quaking our windows every night, scratching at the panes, trying to get in. We prayed and we prayed and we prayed. And then they showed up. This group of women, these holy women, these nuns, and they prayed over our house, and the evil was banished. They set us up perfectly.
Do any of these symbols look familiar to me?
Um,
So my mother is Protestant, my father is Catholic, but Cormac's family was not. Wasn't his mom like a pagan?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cormac's mom was a witch. His dad very Catholic, but different practices.
yeah. Yeah, these are definitely witchcraft marks. Absolutely.
I'm glad they could be of service to you and protect your family. Have you heard any other clues about where this thing came from?
The nuns said they called it a name. They said his name was El Muerto, steals souls, mostly of cowboys, but seemed to take some sort of interest in our family. Maybe we set our house down in a space we weren't supposed to, but it's all fixed now that we have these. And she kind of runs her hands over some of the symbols along the fence post. As long as we stay where we're safe, no harm will come to us.
That's smart. Our goal is to get rid of whatever this thing is. So telling us its name is quite helpful, thank you.
No. The thing you have to know is, I said its claws on the window, but when we looked out, we weren't sure if it was a person because he doesn't have a head.
Right. I've heard of things like this from back home.
You have?
You don't say.
Haven't you ever been told stories about things when your parents wanted you to go to bed? Warnings?
I mean, I would have if I had parents, but continue.
Right then. Have you heard any other clues that we might want to know?
Well, sometimes I think he comes in a storm. That's where we saw him every time. There was thunder and lightning, big mess of sounds. Clouds would roll in, get very dark. And it could change at the drop of a hat. Sometimes the sun would be shining and then suddenly the thunder would roll and the clouds would darken the sky, and there he was. I don't know what he wants. Souls, I think, is what they said. And they also asked me if I had seen any wolf packs. These witches, or not, she would say nuns. She would say nuns. These nuns, they were looking for wolves. We've never had a wolf problem on our property, so I sent them on their way.
Interesting.
Quiet nuns and wolves, so.
Well, you've been more than helpful. If things ever get too dangerous out here and the barrier no longer works, you can come to Three Sisters. My friend over there with the scarf, she's quite good at the same things. as these nuns that came.
Oh, she a nun too?
Something like it.
And you see this woman just kind of waving at you, Alice.
I'll kind of look up and wave hesitantly. Are these marks skillfully done? Or are these amateurs? Or are these like professionals who did these marks?
It ranges. Some of them, like the really important ones, seem to have been taken a good time on. Some of the lesser ones, you think those will wear down within a few years, maybe a little hurried almost. So whatever group did this, mixed skills.
Am I able to cross the property line? Or with my current gear and whatnot, am I like, how powerful are these symbols?
Ooh. I think you feel a little uneasy. These are pretty powerful symbols.
Yeah, so I'll kind of hesitantly wave from the edge of the line of these runes.
You feel your scarf growing a little bit icy, even in the heat of the day.
Orla needs one of those.
You really don't.
All right then. So Orla thinks that we've got all the information we're gonna get out of this family. I thank you for your time.
Blessings be with you.
Gabe's gonna like tiptoe out of that one.
So I'm assuming the both of you come back to the three of us.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I think Orla relays. I think we should keep riding. I'll explain on the way.
Right.
Alice,
Keep moving.
I got the name.
Did you?
El Muerto? That's hard to say in an Irish accent.
Does it sound like a true name, or does that sound like a name that this coven just gave it?
It sounds like a name that has been given to something. It doesn't really sound like a true name.
Okay. That'll be helpful some. We still need to figure out its true name. Whoever did those markings, they have real power. I'd rather avoid them if we can, but it's possible they'll be useful if we need them, but otherwise I'd rather avoid them.
Avoid the so-called nuns, as the family called them.
Is that what they called them?
Yes.
A
They also
coven
asked
would be
about
more
wolves,
accurate.
apparently. And she looks at Louv.
Luv and I run into them. Well, almost run into them when we were out in the desert.
That's right. We heard him out there. That's for sure.
Are wolves native to this area?
Not
I
from
heard
my
someone help us.
understanding. We're a little too far south.
Curiouser and curiouser.
Hmm. Well, we're getting a little far out. Keep going for a few more hours and then make camp. Right. At that point, Cormac will start riding with his rifle just kind of hugged in front of him, just to have it at the ready.
Cormac, as you are riding past the edge of this property line, you see the four daughters playing with rocks. You hear them like, "This is the prettiest. No, this is the prettiest." And in front of them, you see just hopping into the brush that jackrabbit, or a jackrabbit. Yeah. about the rest of you? Does your journey continue on? Or any more questions for the family?
No, I think we continue, and then Orla's gonna pass out the sandwiches.
Please describe the sandwiches.
It's bread and cheese.
Ah, yeah.
But she also picked up some like apples, and there's water.
That sounds lovely.
And strangely enough, she doesn't have whiskey on her for once.
Cormac will start keeping an eye out for signs of any game to hunt and have for food.
You've seen some antelope herds roll by, so if you wanted to go find some antelope, that could probably be arranged.
Yeah, as we get closer to camp, definitely.
How far away from town do you get? Do you spend the whole day traveling and camp when it gets dark, or is there a specific place you're trying to get to?
From experience, Cormac would probably ride until it's about an hour to 2 hours before sunset. So there's enough time for camping, getting an antelope, to cook over a fire and everything along those lines.
As you start to make camp, you find a spot by some tall rocks that are casting some shade, especially as the sun starts to go down. Those shadows get longer and longer, and a good place to have a fire so that the wind won't blow out your flames. Yeah. Did you all pack some, because you knew you were going to be coming out here, do y'all have tents, gear, things like that, at least bedrolls?
Cormac's just got a straight bedroll. He's not at least here, he's not a big tent person.
Orla has a tent.
Gabe is gonna sleep in the schooner.
Did Mary come?
Of course. Can't leave Mary. Sweet little Mary.
Orla would have asked Alice if she wanted to share a tent before they left.
Yeah, that would be wonderful. I also brought some paints to, knowing that we are hunting a demon, to set up similar runes that we saw at that property that we stopped by around this campsite. Nothing too complex, just enough to give us at least a few moments to react if something happens.
Louv definitely helps around camp and collects like firewood and things, but she is also 1000% following Cormac to see how good he is with that rifle. Just very curious.
Shall I give a roll?
Yeah, let's do it. Let's do a long arms roll, Cormac.
Okay, that's an 18 out of 85.
All right. Wow. That is a success. And you also get, let's see.
So six?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Here, you pick up 6 jacks. What do you want to do with those?
I'll put them in the river.
Okay. My goodness. So just as a reminder for all y'all, you can spend jacks to get things. Please spend jacks. You can spend 1 jack to add a slight impact, extra point of damage, or an additional clue. You can spend 2 jacks to peel a layer away or make a minor change in the current situation. 3 jacks adds moderate impact on the situation. 4 jacks peels away 2 layers from mystery, and 5 jacks reveals all clues in the scene and adds substantial change in the current situation. So
absolutely, we should use those for clues, but also banishing a demon or bargaining or binding with them needs jacks. So
yes.
Absolutely.
As well.
trying to weasel us out of using our jacks for the big things. Mhm.
I see. I see. I'm not trying to make your life harder, or am I?
Ugh.
I think Orla didn't just bring like sandwiches and a tent and all this stuff. She also brought a lap harp with her. And so once the fire is built up, she sits down and starts playing music.
Beautiful. Songs that you know from the saloon or songs from home?
Songs from home.
Cormac's not in camp. Uh,
How does that successful hunt go, Cormac? That was a really big success. What does that look
Yeah.
like for you?
I think it's pretty simple. Cormac and Louv kind of pull up over a ridge over the herd. Cormac will kind of set up, take the Sharps rifle off his shoulder, and pick one out, take a few breaths, fire one shot right in the mass where the heart is, and just kind of very casually waltz over, pick it up over his shoulder, and carry it back to the horse. And Cormac was so good, shocked Louv into silence, and then the two of them make their way back to camp. And I imagine as they return, Orla's got the harp out and is starting to sing, and Cormac just very diligently sets the deer up to cook over the fire, just a nice simple roast, and just goes on a walk into the darkness.
The sound follows you for a little while, and then it's just nothing.
Orla
start to
sighs
hear-
and puts the harp away.
Wow.
I hope I'm not prying, but is there something I'm missing after that display?
What display?
I mean, the air just feels a little tense.
It's a long story, preacher.
And I have a feeling it's going to be a long night. What a coincidence.
Should make you roll.
Sure.
Ingratiate, I think, would be the right roll.
And remember
The
those
two
jacks you can
most
spend.
Deception. Like the two most charismatic characters. Let's see how this goes. Who's gonna win?
Could I possibly argue convince?
Yes, do convince.
All right. $60 out of 65.
Oh, barely made
Ooh.
Barely.
it. Orla, who at this point has a horrible headache. This is like in the last year of her life almost. I would say 8 months it is. The last 8 months of her life. This is the longest she's gone without a drink. So she's really grumpy. But she's also feeling very weak and emotional from her day. And so she's puts the harp away and well, preacher, I'm not sure if you knew or if you noticed. Cormac's my husband, but we haven't been living together for probably about 8 months at this point.
Oh, I see.
That's the short version.
And given the sake of privacy, I will not ask anything further than that. But I don't know. Is there anything I can possibly help with? I don't know. I'm just saying this out of courtesy if you can't tell.
I was going to say I didn't want to be rude and tell you that it's a bit out of your... It's a bit too much, I think, preacher. And in reality, it's I don't think it's going to be a pretty picture when we finally do talk about it. And I'm not sure you can help with that. Unless you can get him to start talking to me about what happened to our kid.
I'll see what I can do.
Right. Good luck. And then she's going to go to the tent and go to bed. Louv,
Yeah, Miss Ola.
can you untie me, please? I'm not going to sleep in a corset.
Yeah, of course I can. It's a beautiful song, by the way.
At least somebody appreciates it. And then after she's out of her corset, she'll go to bed.
Alice, you're painting these symbols around the campfire, right? How far out are you painting those? Just right around where folks are sleeping, or?
Yeah, before the sun went down, I painted kind of the half circle around the rocks and then up on the rocks. Nothing too far out, because the more concentrated they are, the more power they would have. So it's a smaller area. But yeah, that's probably done by sundown. And then through this whole conversation, I think she's sitting there quietly, not saying anything. And there's a point, I think she's poking the fire with the stick and accidentally drops a stick in. And I don't know that anybody notices, but she just reaches into the fire and grabs it and pulls it back out. And then continues poking the fire.
When Alice comes to bed, Orla is going to ask her for something for her headache.
Yeah. Just a headache.
Well, I didn't bring the little bag that you gave to me, so if you don't want to be woken by my night terrors, then probably something for that too.
There's not a ton I can do for that out here. I can maybe stop them for the evening. I mean, it'll have a cost, but I could probably do something.
Just the headache is fine, Alice. It's okay. Save your energy for what's coming.
Let me see what I have in my bag, and she'll dig through. And she'll pull out a couple things and take some time, kind of smash them down into a paste. Here, hold your hand out. And she does a series of two symbols that are interconnected. Nothing like what you've seen on the ranch or anything. And then she presses her hand down on top of yours. And there's a flash of warmth and then a little bit of prickliness. That should help. That you hopefully won't have any nightmares tonight. This isn't a good solution for every night, but while we're on the road, it may help some at least.
Thanks. Good night, Alice. And Orla rolls over.
Alice will go to bed as well. And I think the cost for that magic is that I think Alice has nightmares tonight around.
What a tent. I was about to say, you might hear some quiet crying as you fall asleep. Just.
Oh, jeez. And then Cormac and I guess, are just sleeping on bedrolls out by the fire. Loof is silent for like most of the evening, but just as we're all kind of turning in, she turns to Cormac and says, "Hey, Cormac. Nice shot." And then she puts her hat over her face.
Cormac smiles to himself a little bit and holds back a wry remark and appreciated. Cormac doesn't go to sleep at that point. He tends to the fire and makes sure that the embers go out properly, that they don't kickstart and burn anything around, and that there's no outstanding smoke, that we're not sighted by anything or anyone.
as you're tending and poking the fire, a stone, pretty river rock with blue in it, kind of rolls up and hits the edge of the ring of stones that you have around the fire.
Did you steal that one from those girls?
You hear from behind you, I just borrowed it. I'm gonna give it back.
You better. That's what borrowing means. All right?
Okay.
Okay. It's been a while since you've been out here like this. Last time was on our way to Texas. It's been a few months.
I like this. I like seeing the sky.
It's beautiful. Do you know any constellations, lad? Stars.
I know the one with the scoop. You showed me that one. And I remember the one with the belt.
Right.
And there was the chair.
I don't know that one. Your mother must have taught you that one.
Yes. She was singing my favorite song.
I know, lad.
You left. Don't you like my song?
I love your song, lad. It just hurts a bit.
Oh.
Sometimes memories that we can't get rid of hurt sometimes. Not painful like you cut your finger, but heavy in your heart. When your chest feels sunken in a bit. And everyone feels it different, but as you grow older, you find ways to not want to feel that. Stay away from it. Because it hurts.
I'm sorry that your chest hurts.
Oh, no, it's all right, lad. It's nothing you did. It's nothing you did. You better go get some sleep. It's late for you, all right? I'll be right behind you.
Okay.
Good night, lad.
Good night, Papa.
I'm sure as Cormac turns to go to bed, is Gabriel still up? Yeah. Cormac just stops.
So, what exactly did Gabriel say? Like, what was their point of view for that conversation?
It was just Cormac having a one-sided conversation.
I gotcha. Instead of confronting Cormac, Gabe is just going to start preparing for bed, and that totally did not happen. And I would like to pull out a detail, a splinter, actually. They kept a splinter in their hand, and they're gonna just yank it and kind of like work the finger to get some blood out of it, maybe to attract something.
What are you trying to attract? I'm like
Uh,
the demon itself, or like the kid, or
mm,
your own personal weird.
yeah, my personal weird.
Personal weird. Okay. Is your Bible nearby?
Of course.
Yes. I think as that blood drips on the onto the schooner, a wind kind of blows, and it blows the Bible open. And you've looked at this Bible every day. You know it like the back of your hand, but it flips to a new page. And on that new page is a story written in a spidery handwriting. It's a story that you've heard before whispered. Story of a trickster, a spider stealing a melon. It doesn't belong in your Bible, but it's there. And you see that spider web kind of in the arch of your schooner. There's a big web that's been built. And you hear a voice like from out in the desert. It's a good story. Do you well to tell stories like that?
Of course, but that sounds like I'm straying off the path, don't you think?
Paths are made. New paths are formed. Haven't you ever wanted to try something new?
You know, I was never an Eve type. I'm gonna make that very clear. Your little path, your web. I just want answers.
This isn't a temptation. This is an invitation.
I don't know what I'm doing. That was awfully clever. And like they're just throwing like hides on and just dismissing this entirely.
You've got it. You've got questions about your friend there, don't you?
Will it cost me?
Cost is such a ugly word. Cost, money. What about favors for friends, colleagues?
Little highfalutin. But fine, what's a favor among friends?
No, don't worry. I won't go calling it in too soon. You might even forget you had this favor. What do you need to know?
I'll keep this quite simple for you. What was that?
Some ghosts are physical spirits, but some things that haunt us are ghosts of our own making. And those can be the most dangerous of all. Because once someone finds out you have one, well, they can get you to do just about anything. Now, can't they?
All right, thank you. I'm not gonna shoo you away like last time. You can do whatever you want.
Oh,
Poor choice of words.
do you
Like,
want to take
it's
that
like-
one back? Real quick. I'll give you an out on that one.
You know what? I like playing feral. Let's keep it in.
All right. Whatever I want. This is going to be fun. I think we're going to become very good friends, Gabriel.
I bet.
And the voice kind of fades away on the wind, and you catch a glimpse of some spiders scurrying right up the schooner, the canvas of the schooner. and settling in for the night on top.
Not gonna regret that. Not at all. Nope.
Alice, tell me about your nightmares.
They are a mixture, I think, of that failed ritual in which she lost her partner and the aftermath of it, the whispering and the looks and the judgment that people suddenly had, everything that everyone had tolerated, had ignored up until that point, suddenly being brought up as an insult because, well, they couldn't prove that she killed anyone, but everybody knew that was the case. So there were all of these other nasty things in her life as well that were just as damning. And I think it's most of the nightmares are those whispers, those looks, the stares from people.
Curiously absent from your nightmare, Alice. There's a lot of eyes turned on you in your nightmares. All those people that you used to know, who used to respect you, you walk by every morning on your way to the bakery. But they're all normal human eyes. You look and you look, not a glimpse of yellow anywhere. Strange for your nightmares.
Yeah.
I think, though, those eyes, those yellow eyes, you'd never seen them before, Orla. But I guess, what magic did you do on Miss Orla there, Alice?
The intention was to, if not prevent Orla from having nightmares for this one night, then to make them as minimal as possible.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why the cost was essentially an exchange.
Sure. Would it block demonic visitors?
That was not the intent of it, no, so I don't think it would.
Right. These yellow eyes you see for the first time, Orla, in your dream. It's a simple dream. You are just sitting on a chase, petting the hair of Liam. It's a quiet evening. He's fallen asleep. You're singing to him that favorite song. He kind of turns over and nuzzles his face into your side and sleepily will look up at you and just say, "Mama, can I have some warm milk before I go to bed?" But his eyes are different. They're not Liam's eyes. It's a glow almost, a yellow, almost animalistic.
I think Orla just like freezes in the dream and starts to panic, and it'll get to the point where it'll wake her up. And so she just like shoots awake, breathing heavily, and at this point, is Alice awake or asleep?
I think you shooting awake would probably wake her up, because I imagine the tent's not very big. Are you okay?
I'm not sure. And she'll describe the dream to you.
I don't know if it's light enough, but Alice's face pales at that. I shouldn't have tried that spell with you. I'm sorry. That's my fault. If you ever see those eyes again, get away. Run.
Right. Why were the eyes there?
No, I think I did. I overstepped. I tried too hard to help you, and I
And
brought
it has
attention on
nothing to
you.
do with how Liam passed.
No,
Are you sure?
these are. I'm
And at this
sure.
point, Orla is yelling, so if anyone else is a light sleeper, they can hear her.
I think Alice is still trying to like keep it low. It's, with what Cormac described to me,
What did he
it was
describe to you that he hasn't told me? And then she rips the tent open and just marches off the outside of the camp.
Alice just sits there.
Louver, Cormac, and Gabriel would probably all hear this in the dead of night, sliver of moon above, stars, those embers starting to die down in the fire.
As she's walking past, you hear, "This is a hell of a time to stop drinking. God damn it." And she's going to start rifling through Louv's things and see if she can find any whiskey.
There is no whiskey among Louv's things. There's just $4, some ammo, a war bag, which I'm sure doesn't contain whiskey, and trail rations.
Fuck! And then she's pacing. She knows better than to leave camp because she knows what Alice's marks are about. And so she's just pacing back and forth now. Not really looking at anyone and kind of talking to herself, trying to calm down.
I think I will get up as well. Since the eyes were here, even if I didn't see them in person, they were in a dream here. So I think Alice is really nervous about that. So she gets up, and is Orla the only person awake currently?
As you wonder that, Louv's boot has been kind of moving a little bit, and then she finally kind of like looks over at Cormac, seeing that he hasn't moved, and just says, "Well, like, God damn it," and takes the hat off her face and stands up, unable to sleep with this ruckus.
I'm sorry, Louv. I didn't mean to wake you. I'm just...
Nah, it's fine, Ola. You don't seem all right though. What's going on?
I'm not, and I'm not ready to talk about it.
It's okay.
Alice climbs out of the tent. I need to make sure that he hasn't actually followed me here. And she reaches up and grabs her scarf and says something in a language I'm guessing nobody here knows. Unless there's somebody who knows ancient Sumerian, I don't know. She says a string of words, and the ends of her scarf kind of flap behind her and flare up into like bat-like wings made of fabric. And she's going to go up into the air because I need to check the perimeter and see if there's anything within sight.
This Orla's eyes just get bigger. She's like, kind of breaks her
Yes.
out of her pacing for a moment.
Same. Can I get you, like a glass of water or something? Jesus. Do you know she could?
I absolutely did not.
God, I'm learning a lot of ways to tie shoes.
I think
Last
Orla
24 hours.
goes over and does her, like, nudges Cormac's foot. Quit pretending you're asleep. And then she points up.
Yeah, Cormac's awake and has been watching. Hi.
Or make a scene of
What
it
about
for her.
it?
What did you tell her?
About what?
About Liam. She knows something I don't, and I can't stand it.
Move just moves as far away as possible in this tiny circle. And like gives them that as much privacy as she can, like 15 feet away from her.
I can't talk about this right now.
Grand. Fantastic. Just what we need.
Alice, are you still levitating in the air?
Yeah, I want to get high enough that I can see. I'm looking mostly for those eyes to make sure that it hasn't followed me out here. But then also we're also looking for a black rider, so looking for that as well.
As you rise up into the sky on your bat wings, does your scarf lengthen to create the wings?
Mm-hmm.
Is it attached?
Yeah, in a really
to
unnatural
your,
way.
Is it attached to your skin like a wing?
I don't think so. It kind of flaps behind and becomes the wings.
So cool. You all see Alice just silhouetted against the sliver of the moon. And Alice, from your perspective, you see the camp, the dying embers of the fire, the tall rocks that were casting shadows over you, keeping you safe from the sun. You rise over those and you start to rise into where your feet start to drift in some cloud wisps that have started to roll in, and you hear a crack of lightning and a roll of thunder in the distance. And you recall what the woman at the homestead said, that storm rolls in like a hat, like the drop of a hat. That sky had been clear. That night sky now starts to be full of clouds, almost seemingly coming out of nowhere. It's pouring out of the mountainsides. The stars begin to darken. You don't see any yellow eyes, but you do see the clouds start to form into the shape of a rider on a horse as it gallops closer. At first, you just think it's clouds rolling over each other, but then you see the hooves. And it's almost like you hear the beats of those hooves against the ground, even though it's in the sky. It starts to descend down and alights on one of the hilltops. You see that rider clothed in black, on a black steed with its the eyes turned towards you, and they're shiny, but they're not yellow. But you also don't see a head. There's no head. The mount rears up, and you hear a whinny that shakes the ground around you, and the lightning cracks behind it. The rest of you now all see this rider now illuminated against the lightning.
I think Orla whips towards it and is like, great, just what we fucking need right now.
Cormac is up, rifle in hand, and ready to go.
I'll drop down and start adding to the runes that I have around the camp.
Alice, what do we need?
I was hoping to find information about this thing, not meet it face to face yet. We need its name. I don't think we're going to find that out here.
Right, how do we get it away?
Did we make the iron and silver shots that we were talking about?
Cormac has them.
The shots that we talked about, iron and silver, should keep it at bay for now.
Right.
I might be able to
Luke?
talk to it.
Cormac will toss like a small bag filled with thick lead and silver bullets.
Jeez, thank you, Cormac. How much money you got? I can afford this.
Oh, I didn't pay for them.
Ah, I haven't
think
done
I
that one in a
probably paid
while.
for them.
I will gratefully load some silver bullets.
Alice is everyone's sugar mama.
Well, I'll load one of each.
Yep, iron bullets in the sharps.
Right. Any other preparations being made?
Orla has literally nothing that could help in this situation.
Big.
I stand in front of Orla.
Alice, do you think singing to it's going to upset it the way it did this one? And points at Cormac.
I have no idea. You'd be surprised how finicky they all are. I will. I hadn't thought of this before, but now that I've seen it, I want to kind of internally reach towards the consciousness bound to the scarf. Does it know anything about this?
That is so interesting. Would you like to make a roll? Would you like to spend some jacks?
We got a lot.
Got so
We do have a
many.
lot. How many jacks do we have?
We have 26. I'm supposed to give you like 5 for the river.
This would be a great role for them.
I will spend 5 jacks to either see if the entity I have with me knows anything or is willing to make a deal for it.
You hear, tell me about the personality of your entity in your scarf.
I think it's mostly angry because I bound it permanently.
Yeah.
So there's anger there. But it's sly. Not deceitful, but misleading.
Mm-hmm. You reach out to it. You can sense that it's feeling good about being able to use its powers, the scarf's powers, like kind of riding a high. The breath that you feel in the scarf is like quickened and feels almost gleeful. And as you reach out to connect with it, you feel like, what do you want?
Do you know anything about this demon?
Demon? Is it even a demon? It's old. Old, very old, but weak. Only children fear it. Silly old thing. Far from home. Do you need help, Alice? Do you need to release me?
If only children fear it, how is it killing? Your information doesn't
Frustrated.
seem very valuable.
It's frustrated. It misses its home. Easy prey. Easy partner.
Do you know its name?
Maybe. Maybe. But I'm not the only one who does. I've heard it said. That one said it. And you feel the scarf kind of tug you to look at Cormac.
Really?
Like I said, old name. Dula.
You're getting rusty, old friend, giving up information without making
Like
a deal.
I said, ancient but weak. What would you have to give me anyway? You don't have anything right now.
So be it. Then I think our conversation is over.
The scarf snaps in the air behind you, but the voice is gone.
I'll drop back down to the ground. I am very suspicious that this thing is as weak as he says, because that's just the kind of thing it would pull. But I will walk over to Cormac. You gave it a name back when we first heard about it. What was that?
It sounded like a Dullahan.
Dulan.
It's an old knight that doesn't have a head, or has a head and can separate it.
Okay, we may have what we need. Is this thing running towards us or?
It's currently just standing on the top of the hill, not running towards you, but it is very clearly focused on your camp.
Am I shooting this thing or what?
Not yet.
Right.
I think I know what it wants, but I'm really gonna regret. I'm gonna step outside of my runes.
Would you like me to go with you?
Probably not.
Alice, what are you doing?
Taking a chance on dubious information.
Alice, as you step outside the ruins, there is another roll of thunder, and the rider who was up on the hill, you now see rearing in front of you, this giant horse. I need you to do a terror test, a terror call.
What is this again?
It's just a D100.
D100. And it's going to be minus 20, whatever you roll.
I'm minus 20 from what I roll.
Yeah.
You mean add 20?
No. Wait, yes. Add 20.
Add 20 is a 43 total.
43. Okay. Okay, so it's a 50% roll mine mine is minus 20 modified by the situation. So 30 is the call.
Oh, but I don't add.
You don't add, no.
Okay, so 23 then.
23. So you barely make it. So you stand in front of this this creature, and you will take lucidity damage, but it is only 3. As it rears up. Anything else you want to do, Alice, as it's right in front of you?
Yeah, I will flare those wings again as, I don't know, a show of force. She's still kind of terrified in this moment because you'd be ridiculous not to be. So flares those wings and just shouts out, Dulong, I want to make a bargain.
Ooh.
Using its name.
Yes. And is this one of your is this a special move with a demon?
Roughly. This one I guess doesn't have to be summoned, so that part's skipped. So bargaining is, let me get to it. Not binding. Those are not the stats I was hoping. I'm actually going to command it.
Command it. All right.
That's where my skill lies, is in commanding things like this.
Okay.
The expression. I'm going to call out. I'm going to command it in the sense of banishing it, like I did the ghost. I'm going to call out, Dulon, I know you're far from home, and I want to send you there. But you have to stop.
Okay. So are you going to spend, do you have 2 grit to spend?
I have not spent, let's see, grit. I do. I have 4 grit total.
Right. So, yeah. If you spend those 2 grit, you see the horse come to a rest in front of you, and the rider will dismount and stand there. and there's still no face, no head. And then it reaches into underneath what looks to be like a writer's serape and pulls out a head and holds it towards you. And you see the eyes flick open, yellow. It blinks, brown. What kind of deal?
I know you are far from home and you wish to return. I will return you there if you go willingly.
I have other interests now. My will is no longer my own.
Who does your will belong to?
You think I would give it that easily? Oh, Alice, I think you know. How would you free me from this bargain then?
I could bind you into my own service and then release you.
Into your own service and then release me. What good is that? Your word. I see you carry one of my brethren around your neck. Did you promise to release them as well?
I did not.
I need something else.
What?
I was sent here. I was sent here to gather your despair. All of your despair. And the hand moves across and you all see this head take you in. Actually, I need everyone else to make terror checks as well. Can y'all just roll your D100s?
78.
Ooh, okay. That's going to be 6 damage, lucidity damage for you, Gabriel.
Mine was a 78, so I'm assuming the same.
The same, yes.
48.
48, all right. The same, 6.
I don't have anything against this, do I? Because I'm a resolute.
Do you have anything against terror calls?
I don't think I do.
Okay.
25.
25. All right. So that's 3 for you, Cormac. So for Orla and Gabriel and Dana, all 3 of you are shaken. Or Louv, wait, did you pass?
48. I don't
48.
believe so.
No, you did not. So yeah, you're all shaken. You see this creature whip out a severed head, speaking with Alice. What are you all doing? What does this scene look like?
Orla looks at Gabriel and says, "Remember earlier when I was saying about the stories that people tell their children?" And she points at it. My mean old mother liked to tell me about that one.
Cormac hears that and says, "My mother wasn't mean," and walks towards it.
Do you step out of the circle as well?
Yeah, I speak Gaelic to it.
Ooh, nice.
Under her breath, Orla goes, "He knows I wasn't talking about his mother, right? I actually liked her."
If he starts flying, I swear to God, I'm going to lose my shit.
You're as far from home as I am.
Ah, countrymen.
And you seek freedom.
Yes.
How can me and this woman, Alice, help you?
All I need now is to be. I cannot tell you how to release me from my service, just that I am under service of somebody else, more powerful than me. I'm but a messenger of the hell that is to rain down. If you do not scatter and leave yourselves to your own despair.
Do you
Brother,
know the
our
name?
despair. Oh, Alice, go ahead.
Do you know the name of the one that commands you?
If I knew, they would not command me.
Our despairs are not our own. You know that. We share them, whether we want to or not.
But aren't they so much more painful when you're on your own?
Aye.
Lost.
We cannot turn back. So if you are a messenger, then your task is finished.
Well, you are not scattered as I was told you must be. I need you all to flee, to leave, to find yourselves alone. And if you will not do that, then I will do it for you.
What are the exact words you were given?
Sow fear. But I know that to feel fear is to be alone.
Done. The mission's already completed.
But you were supposed to be isolated. What I had done, what I have done. And you see him put his head back on his shoulders. And Cormac, you start to recognize the silhouette. The man standing here next to his horse. It's a shape you've seen before. And he pulls up and mounts the horse again. Says, I'll return. I'll return when you're at a better place to receive me. Alice, he wants you alone. And he's going to do a wind burst. I need both Alice and Cormac to do a physique test.
Oh,
What is that under?
okay. Is that just the ability?
Just the ability, yeah.
Oh, Jesus. Okay. 11.
Okay.
I somehow rolled a 12, which is under my 13.
Hey. I have an 18.
You all feel this gust of wind as the horse kicks up and starts to become cloud and mist and pull into the air. But you're both able to keep your feet. You can still see this cloudy, misty form of this demon here.
Cormac just starts shooting at it.
Yeah, make some long arm attacks.
You got it.
Anyone else joining in?
I'm good.
62. Cormac's just gonna empty the clip, which is for
Okay.
27, 38, and 9.
9.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, as he's firing off, I will attempt, since I've already spent this grit, I will look at it and just very forcefully say, Dulon, I forbid you from entering our camp and from entering Three Sisters.
You hear on the wind, done. It's a deal, Alice. Cormac, how many of those shots were
All of them hit.
successes? All of them?
Yeah.
All right.
The only one I know it's -20 to the difficulty. So that would have made
not
it
for this. Not for
Not
this.
for this? Okay.
Yeah, that was just
Yeah.
the terror.
Okay, all of them hit.
All of them hit. Okay. That's 2. That's 6. Okay. You get the sense, Cormac, that as your bullets tear through, that you've wounded this thing deeply. It's like you see the wisps of cloud just kind of being torn apart as your bullets fly through it, the silver cutting through. And Alice, as it smugly is saying, yeah, you've got yourself a deal, you also hear in the background a scream of pain as it's leaving, but you can see that it's partially torn apart.
Louv, if you have any shots left, now would be the time to use them.
How many shots can I make?
What do you have, a pistol?
Yes.
6 of them.
Oh, that makes sense. That is very logical.
Yeah.
Yeah, as you say that, it kind of snaps Louv out of whatever she's thinking.
It is in the sky. So do you have, I guess, I'm looking at how far can a pistol shoot? The range of it here. Looks like 45 feet in the air. So you can probably get a couple shots off before it dissipates.
Okay, I could do that. I was about to say I did not load special ammo into all of the places, so that works for me. I'll shoot twice.
Okay.
First roll is 20, second roll is 16. Those are both considerably under my short arm skill.
Okay. I think the clouds rent apart and you see lightning just strike all outside the camp. Cormac and Alice, you're both going to take a lightning to the chest. The rest of you see the lightning just strike around the camp. True to his word, Dullahan did not attack in the circle. But the cloud bank that it formed out of starts to rip apart and dissipate. You see trails of clouds going off every which way, north, south, east, west, in this giant web of cloud. And then the sky is clear. No more storm, no more clouds, just stars. And for that lightning there, that's going to be, it's going to be 7 vitality for Alice and Cormac.
Louv inhales the smoke from her fired pistol and just mutters under her breath, "Yeah, we also command smoke and thunder, you piece of shit."
Alice is dead.
I think so, but it doesn't matter. It was being commanded. There's something far worse here. And she turns and walks back into the camp. If you're close to her, you can see that she is shaking. But she goes back and sits down in front of the fire and puts her face in her hands for a moment.
Orla goes and sits down and starts boiling water for tea.
Louv is going to chamber silver rounds into every slot in her pistol.
Without looking at him, Orla says, "Cormac, can you please step back into the circle?"
Cormac's just kind of lost.
Louv?
I grab him.
Cormac, pain shoots through you. You are pretty beaten. You're hurting. You're battered. And the pain jolts through you as Louv grabs your arm.
No, Cormac will resist.
I'm going to try to wrestle him into the circle.
All right. This sounds like
Cormac just resists.
Louv, can you make a melee call?
Or
fisticuffs, I guess.
Fisticuffs.
Probably. Let's do fisticuffs.
Hey, I ain't bad at that. I ain't great. I ain't bad. $20 is below my skill of 35.
Right. That gives you a fisticuffs jack if you want to take it.
Yes.
So violently, Cormac, you are pulled back.
Hey, get your ass in the circle. Sit down. I'm going to first aid you.
Fine.
First aid does not go nearly as well as wrestling. If you'd cooperated the first time, this would be going a lot easier.
Just give it to me. I'll do it myself.
I'll hand you the kit.
That's a 21 for my 70 first aid. But minus the 10%, so that's for the 60. So
okay. So you're gonna pick up four jacks there?
Yeah. Yep. Can I apply that to the first aid to just
absolutely.
So how much does that heal?
Let's look at that call there. Is that just first aid?
Yeah.
All right. So first aid call gives you. Oh my gosh, there's so much. All right. Let's give you how many jacks you earned. So 4, And then
Okay.
you go ahead and get, you can spend those for 4 and then your success for 5.
Okay. So that's I'm all good.
You're back to
Okay. And then
almost full.
Cormac will immediately go and tend to Alice.
Orla's there with a cup of tea, has tried to take Alice's hand if she'll let her.
So that's
Yeah, she
32
does.
for now, my 70.
Are you going to spend
So
those
that's-
jacks and make it extra? Okay.
Yeah. So that's 3 jacks spent.
And then for your success, so go ahead and heal 4, Alice.
Drink the tea, Alice. I think it'll help.
You. The thing that's here, it's the thing that's been hunting me. This is normally when I would flee town and set up somewhere different.
The yellow eyes. Right.
Yeah.
Well, I don't think you can keep running, Alice, because now it's affecting all of us.
Yeah.
Orla will stand up, turn around. She's poured a second cup, hands it to Cormac, and then goes back to her tent and goes lay down.
Takes it without a word. Luv, Gabriel, are you all right?
Gabriel never left the schooner. Like, they just kind of like hung around the mouth of it and just watched all of this and just studied the dynamic of the 4, taking mental notes. Beyond the spook, I'm perfectly fine.
I'm all right. Yeah. Thanks for asking.
Good. You should get some sleep.
I'll keep watch for what it's worth. I'm not going to sleep after this.
Right.
Seeing that Alice isn't coming back, Orla sticks her head back out of the tent. Luv,
Yeah, Miss Ola?
will you sleep in here, please? I can't sleep by myself now.
Yeah, of course. Liv will kind of awkwardly get into the tent and almost knocking it over in the process.
So you're
Once
all.
everyone's
Oh, sorry. Go for it, Alice.
once everyone's gone to sleep, I will one last time reach inside towards the entity that I have with me, and this is your last chance. If you know the name of the thing that hunts me, I will release you tonight.
Night. You'll release me tonight.
Yes.
Free, not dead.
You will return home for 2 years.
2 years is not free.
It's freer than an eternity in the scarf.
"2 years, or watch you die, be buried around your neck. Watch your bones crumble to dust, Alice. That's what I will have."
In the span of your life, that's an awfully short amount of time to be petty. We'll spend
2
the rest of it
years.
underground.
2 years is even shorter.
Exactly. So why not go home for 2 years? Give me its name.
This is not the first time you will ask me for this name. This is not the last time you will ask me for this name. Next time, you'll come with a better offer.
What do you want?
Freedom. Let me go.
A truce, then. You will not hunt me for 2 years. But you'll have your freedom.
And after?
Once the truce is ended, either you'll hunt me or I'll hunt you. See who gets there first.
You might know my name, but I know things about you now, Alice. This hunt will be very, very different than the one before. The eyes belong to Marbas himself.
And with that, a deal is struck. I will take the the scarf off, and she pulls out a knife and says a few words and cuts the scarf in half.
What does it look like when it severs?
There's hesitation, a look of sadness, I think, on Alice's face because of what the scarf itself means to her, not the thing she trapped inside of it. But when it cuts, there's, I think in the direction she cuts, a burst of ice out across the ground. I think it extinguishes part of the campfire and just cuts a swath across the ground to the outside of the ring around this campsite.
I love it. And from that, you hear the release of this demon into the air, just a scream once more, a different kind of scream, higher pitched, angry, just rends across the desert, and you see some of the rocks cracking as it goes, this ice spreading and then melting, spreading, then melting till it's out of sight.
I'll spend the rest of the whatever's left of the night sewing up my scarf.
Right? Unless anyone else has something they want to do, I think this is a tense place to leave our session. So our western winds will keep a blowing, our tail won't in here. Tune in next time for where the winds take our paragons next. Sleep well, cowpokes. This has been a Haunted West actual play. Let's see where we can find our lovely cast. Let's start with Vin. Where can we find you?
Well, guys, hi again. It's me, Vin, at VinVoxVA on Twitter. I post a lot of different things like what I'm doing, casting calls, auditions, all sorts of opportunities for you. So find me there.
Cameron.
Hi everyone, I'm Cameron. You can find me on Twitter at worldsmith_cam. It's a whole hodgepodge of stuff. I'm a little fuzzy right now, folks. So, but you can find me there. You'll see the things I'm up to, the things I'm writing, designing, and the other shows that I'm in.
Dana.
I am Dana Ebert. Similar for me, I create content. I go on podcasts and live streams. I do a bunch of stuff. You can find me on social media as Mistress Dana RPG on pretty much every social media platform. And yeah, that is all I will plug for now.
And Anna.
Hey, I'm Anna, aka Archival Dust Bunny, most places on the internet, queer and trans advocate, museum worker, and TTRPG streamer and podcaster. If any of that sounds interesting, you can find me on Twitter at Archival Dust Bun. Monday nights, you can find me on Party White Games playing Greetings from Republic City, our Avatar Legends actual play. I play Waterbender of the Northern Water Tribe, who participated in the Water Tribe Civil War and has feelings about that and has since left for Republic City. Every third Thursday, you can find me on Ballad of the Seven Dice, including this upcoming Thursday for the Timeless Journey, a Ryutama actual play. And usually the first Sundays, but because of the holiday this month, it'll be this Sunday, just in a couple days. You can find me on Thorny Dride's channel for U-Force Inheritance, our Masks actual play ongoing series. I play a protege who carries far too much responsibility for her group. We have a really great cast for that, so check it out. It's very easy to keep up with since it's only a monthly game, and we always have a lot of fun. And of course, if sci-fi or podcasts are more your thing, you can find me on Response Team Omnicron, a Lancer actual play podcast, playing through the No Room for a Wallflower adventure arc, following a PR team who unexpectedly ends up on the front lines of a brewing conflict and has to deal with all of the conflict and trauma that comes from that. We have roleplay focused characters, narrative first, giant mech battles, if that's your thing. We've been compared to as if Battlestar Galactica had its own red versus blue. So if any of that sounds interesting, you find us anywhere you normally get your podcast and on Twitter at RT Omnicron. But the best place to see where and when I'm streaming, including all of the upcoming unannounced projects that I have, is on Twitter. So give me a follow there.
Hi, and I'm Christina. I've been your balladeer tonight. I'm a writer. I'm a GM. I'm a role player. You can find me over on Twitter at D20xtina. You can book with me over at Magpie Games Curated Play Program if you want to play games with me. And what I want to plug tonight is, hey, the Emmy nominations came out. And I'm not going to plug anything specifically, but Uncaged Goddesses was nominated for a couple of things. So you should check out Uncaged Goddesses. It's really cool. Maybe go throw some really awesome goddesses a vote, because I know some really, really cool folks worked on this super amazing product that is near and dear to my heart. So go check it out. And Nikki.
Hey, I'm Nikki. I use she, her pronouns. I'm the producer here at TEA TRPG, and I'm also a teacher and a disability and LGBTQ advocate for teachers and for my students. And you can find me everywhere online as Halfling_Nikki, NIKKI. I am usually talking about teaching things or being queer or TTRPG stuff. Please join us tomorrow for our premiere of our season 2 of Avatar Reclamations. We are really excited. There's a lot of really good stuff in store. We have a lot of stuff to deal with from our family. Ooh, familial trauma. What's that about? So definitely tune in tomorrow at 11 a.m. Pacific, 2 p.m. Eastern for that. And we're very excited. And then the rest of the shows you'll see on our Thank You for Watching screen in just a moment, because there's a lot of them. I'm not going to name all of them. All right, everybody, see you on the internet.